slide from 5 to 7, back to 2, 5. So we got. Now the second part goes 0, 2, 3, slide back. So 0, 2, 3, and then 5 to 7, back to 5. And then we're going to take the D, G, and B strings on the 5th fret. We're going to slide those up to 7s and then slide them back. So that one we're going to go 7 to 8, quick hammer on the 2nd string. One more 7, and then you got 5, 7, 5, hammer on, pull off. You got 5, 5, 5, G string, back to B and back. And then you got 2 to 4 and back on the D string. So let's look at everything we got. Now our next riff, we're going to do the 2 top strings. So it's opens, 2s, 3s, 2s, and then we're going to pull off real quick the 3 to the 2 to the open. Then hit the opens one more time. So it's. And then you got a drum fill and it ends with. So we're going to bend the 7 on the G string. Hit that 8 on the 2nd string. Do it twice, and then you got an up and down bend on that 7 on the G. Pull off to the 5, back to 7. And I'll kind of switch to this middle finger on that 7, so I can slide into that 11. It's like a D shape up here. So you got those 11, 10, and 10 down there. Okay, so let's check out what we got so far. We got. Now this next part's going to go. So we got 3 9s on the G string, and then 7, 8, 10 on the B. Little 7. We got 3 10s right there, so. 9, 7, 8 again. Little 7, and then you got 8, 7, 5 there with a little pull-off slide. We got those again. Same stuff. Now we got a new part. We got. Now this one's going to go 8, 5, 7, 7, 5, 5. So we got 7, 7, 5, 5. You could do a little trill on that one. And then we're going to have. Okay, so that was 4 big ones on the E. To the A, A, B, B, A, B, A, B, and then D, B. And then we got E, C sharp. So it's a major shape, and we're going to start on the C sharp here on the 9th fret. So we have 11, 10, 9, 9. We're going to go up 2 and start on the high note. So that's a D sharp or a E flat major. So we got. Then we're going to go to a B major, 9, 8, 7, 7. Back to the C sharp, 9, 9, 10, 11. So we got. And then we're going to have. So that was 4 A strings, 5th fret to the D here, 5, 7, and then E, D, E, D, E, G, E, and then we got A to F sharp, Before the verse here, we have this new riff. We got... Okay, so we had 14s on the bottom. 14 twice, 12 twice, 11 twice. Then we're going to go second string, 12 to 14, 10 to 12. So. Okay, then a verse starts, and it's basically got the same stuff. It's a little bit different when he's singing. Okay, so then we're going to get into some fills that happen later on. So at 2:04 into the song, we have a new fill that pops in this verse. It's going to go. Okay, so it's chromatic, starts on the 11th fret of the G string. And then 7 and 6 are just by themselves, one note. And then 4-3 is how it ends. So you got. Now that goes with a higher thing that's. So that would be 15 and 17 on these two bottom ones. You go down chromatic, do the same type of thing. Then a little bit later, we're going to have a riff that goes. So that was open and 7. Open on the big E and 7 on the 5th string. So we got. So that's one pattern that goes twice. So it's 0-7-7, 0-7-7, 0-7, 0-7-7, 0-7-7, 0-7. And then we got. So that's 5-6-7 on the A to 5 on the D. So that's 5-7 and then 5 on the A back to the big 7. Then 7-4-4. Here we have a really fast triad, kind of a arpeggio type thing. We got. So it's a C sharp major shape here. We got. So we have 16 on the A string, 16, 15, 13, 14, 13, 16. So we got. And then we're going to come up to the 18 and 15, same type of shape. This would be like a D sharp or E flat major. So we got 18, 15, 16, 15, 17, 18. So the same shape. Those both come from like your open C shape, you know, so you got. And then we're going to jump to this 14th fret. That's a B major. End on that 16 on the small string. So. And then we're going to come back to that. This time it has a cool little riff. We got 3, 5, hammer on pull off to the 5 there. So. 12-9-9. Okay, that's lead into the next verse. We got 11s. We got 4 notes of each. So 11 on the G string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9s and 8s. And then 9 on the D. 11, 7, 9. You get into another verse. You got kind of the same types of riffs. Now we get into a new thing at 3:07 and we go. So that's big 5. We got A. We got 3 of those. And then 2 Ds, 3 E's, 2 Ds. Okay, and later that turns into. Okay, and that one's going to go 8 times. So we got the A, 2, 2 Ds, 2 E's, 2 Ds, and then we're going to end with. So a real fast one. We got 7, 7, 6, 7 on the D string. Okay, then then the next thing we got. So it's open 7/7. We got A to its octave, A, and then 5/5/5 going down the strings, and hit one A at the end, and then start it over. You can do that 5 times. And then we're gonna have this riff. So we slide all the 5s into 7s, hit it again, then come up to this D shape, 11 with 10s. Slide those 7s back. So we got. And then we have a little sliding riff, 5 to 7 on the D. So that was 3 times, 5 to 7. And then we got a D over here, 5th fret of the 5th string. So that was 5, 5, 5 on the D, 7 on the A. Read 'em and read. Read 'em and read. So we got A minor, 7, and D. So after 3 times of the A minor 7 to D, we hit a C chord. And then we, back to A minor 7 and D again. 2 times, and then we got. So that's A, E, and D. Chester's Gorilla. And then it just kind of repeats that and fades. Let's go back a little bit, hit some of the highlights. Okay, and then 204, we had that fill that went. And with that, it goes. And then we have a riff. Then we got the fast one. Okay, then we're going to have another one of those. Another verse, and then we're going to have. And then we have. And later we got. And then you got your. All right, Florentine Pogen by request. Check out One Size Fits All by Frank Zappa. That is a fantastic album, and Florentine Pogen is one of the great ones on there. So thanks a lot for watching, y'all. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know if you have a request. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Okay, for this video, I'm going to assume that you have already heard this riff, the fancy riff from inside of St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast by Frank Zappa from the Apostrophe album. We're going to go ahead and get into learning this riff now. So we're going to have... That is a very important motif for this tune. This is going to happen 3 times, this riff. So we got 5 hits on that 8, 10, 12, 8, 10. So let's try that. 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to jump up here to the 10th fret with our first finger. We have to reach the 10, 12, 13, and 15 with the pinky. So we're going to go. So we had 3 10s, 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, 12. Okay, so very important little phrasing here. 2, 3, 4. Then we have the next phrase. Okay, so it's getting wacky here. We got 13 on the B string to a 12-10 on the E, 12-11 on the G, 12-9 on the B after that. So we got... Now the last 3 notes of this measure are 10 on the G, 11 on the B, 11 on the D. So this last bit is... Let's look at what we got so far. Okay, now we're going to come over here to the 10th fret and bar this on the D string and the G. We're going to go 10 on the D, 2 10s on the G, to the 13 on the D, and then 13, 12, and 10 on the G. Okay, let's look at all that. Now here we're going to move up to this ring finger on the 14 on the B string, 14, 13, 13, 12. That's why we needed those particular fingers there. All right. And then we're going to go 15, 17 on the E string. 2 13s and an 18. We'll finish off that measure. So this measure starting in these 10s. Okay, so let's look at it all again. We got... Okay, now we got a new part. We're going to bar with our ring finger these 14s. So we have a little 14, and then 2 14s on the B, 13, 12, 2 12s on the G. So then we're going to jump to the middle finger on the 12th fret of the D because we have a phrase that goes 12, 11, 14, 12, 13 on the A. Okay, so we had from this 14 thing, we got... After that, we're going to have... This is kind of a crazy jump right here. We got this 12 on the G. If somebody has another way of playing this that's easier than this, let me know. We got a 12 on the G to the 9 on the D. So we got from the 14s. And then we have 11, 9 on the B string. And then we're going to get into a thing that's like the beginning on the 2nd string here. It's going to have a little different ending. And it's going to get into a... Okay, so that's what's coming. Let's look at everything so far. 3, 4. new part. 11, 10, 11, 10. So first two notes on the little string. And then same type of shape, 8, 9, but 8, 8 there. So from this new part in the second string that is like the opening that was on the first string. 11, 10, 11, 10, 8, 9, 8, 8. And then 10 on the D, 7, 8, 10 on the G. And then we get into a 4-note thing, 9, 11, 9, 11. Okay, so from the 14s again, we have. Now we have a new phrase here. Let's look at that last one more time. Now we're going to go 9 on the E to 9 on the G. And then 11 on the B to 12 on the D. 12 on the G. And then 9, 8, 11 on the D. Okay, so we got 9, 9, 11, 12, 12, 9, 8, 11. And then we have a new thing, 9 to 10. And then a little string. So that was 9, 10 on the G. 11, 10, 9 on the E. And then we have 12, 12, 11, 10. So this latest measure was. And it's really kind of best to use that ring finger on this 12 on the D. 12, 11, 10, because we have to go 13, 11, 11, 10. That's really a strange one. So from this 9 to 9 thing. So 13, 11, 11, 10 on the G, and then 12 on the D to 11 on the G, and then 13, 10, 9. Okay, so this is crazy stuff. So we're going to start on the 10 here on this particular measure. It was after the 12, 11 going to the 10. So we got. Now we're going to have 12, 10 on the D to 10 on the G, 13, 12 on the D to 12 on the G. So the last thing there was 12, 10, 10, 13, 12, 12. And then we're going to be back to the beginning. So there is hope on the horizon here. So hang in there. See how easy that is? Okay, and then we're back into that next phrase. So there is a little repeating, finally coming back. So let's take a look at everything so far. Now we have some new parts here we're going to have from that 14. All that's the same, but now we have. So these are 2-note phrases, kind of descending, but moving upwards as they go. 11, 9 on the G, 10, 8 on the B, 12, 10 on the B, 9 on the E to the 12 on the B. So now we have 11, 9 on the E. We're going to jump to 14-12, 15-14, and then we're jumping up to 19-18-14-13. So from this new part, we got so 19, 18, 14, 13, and then 15, 14, 13 on the B, 13, 16, 15 going down the strings there. So this new part. Okay, so that's the first 8 notes there we got. And then we're going to have 16 on the B, 15, 14, 13. And then 15 to 14 on the B, 13, 15. So this whole measure. Okay, so it's wacky stuff. You got to take your time with that. Next one is going to be 16 on the D, 13 on the G. And then we start going 2-note phrases that are ascending phrases, but they keep going down. 13, 15, 11, 13 on the D, 14 on the A to 11 on the D. So that was. Now we're going to have 12, 14 on the A, 10, 12, 9, 11, 11, 12 on the E. So this new measure was. Okay, now we have one more kind of wacky measure. We're back to the kind of melody that'll finish it off. So we got 9, 11, and then 11, 10, 9 on the D. So we start on the A. Now we're going to jump down here. 10, 11, 10, 11. That was the B string and then the G string. Then we have 12 on the D, 11 on the B. So let's look at all this in context. We got. And then we have 11, 10 on the D, 12, 9 on the B, and 12 on the A, and that's your home stretch. So we got 11, 10, 9 on the D, 10, 11 on the B, 10, 11 on the G. So now 12 on the D to 11 on the B, and then 11, 10 on the D, 12, 9 on the B, and 12 on the A. And that's the end of our crazy stuff here. And then we're back to. Okay, so I'm going to go through everything here. But once again, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you made it this far, here's a little bonus. Okay, so what's happening there is we have a C chord, D, G, and B strings with a B flat bass, 6th fret of the E string, going into an 8th fret C bass 4 times. So that's a C over B flat to a regular C. Say now Alfonso, say now Alfonso. And then we have a B flat chord, and then we have this riff. So 2, 2, O, you can pull it off. On the D, 4, 2, O, pull off, 4, O, pull off. All right, Frank Zappa rules. Thanks a lot for watching, y'all. Peace out. Talk to you soon. All right, here's a lesson by request on Watermelon and Easter Hay by Frank Zappa. It's going to have a 9-note phrase that's going to repeat underneath the whole kind of lead melody thing that comes in. So we're going to start out in the A chord. We're going to go 2nd string, 3rd, and 4th, and then this 4th fret of the big E string, open E, and then you're going into a B major chord. And it's 9 notes. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a measure of 4, and then we have a measure of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that again. So the first thing I suggest you do is play that little phrase with the album and just do it all the way through. and just be you're jamming with Frank, just playing that one 9-note thing. Okay, so let's do that together one time. We'll move on. 3, 4. Okay, then we get into the melody. We're going to have the 14th fret of the B string. We're going to bend it up, hold it, and then kind of release it after a while. So that was a little 12 on the 2nd string, and then we got 14, 13 on the G. It does this a few times with variations and stuff. It'll do a little 13, 14 back to the 12 here. Sometimes it'll bend twice. Now this third one's going to wait a little bit and go. So let's take a look at that one we got. Let's do the third bend. Then we're going to go 13 to 11 slide and back. So that was 9th fret of the G to 11th fret of the D. So we got. And go quick to that 9, so that's a quick da-da-da-dum. We got a 9 on the G and 11, 9, 11 on the D. A couple ways to do this. So one of them is got 9, 11, slide the 11 to 13 to that 12 right there. So we got. So you can have that little 9, and this is the E major pentatonic scale. So little 9 and then 12, 9, bending the 11, pulling off to the 9, doing that a couple times, and then we start over with the melody. Sometimes you have that little pull off. And then after that third riff, we got the other one. You could also kind of go. So that was kind of a. Or you could be like. Okay, then we're going to get into the next little melody part we got. So this kind of starts in the A major pentatonic and moves into part of the E major pentatonic. That kind of thing, some of those notes. So it kind of shift back and forth. So once again, we got. So 2 and then 4 to 6, back to 4 on the G. And then we're going to take the first finger on that one. Quick down and back. And then we got 6, 4, and 6 on the D. And then we're going to have this. Okay, so it's kind of like how the other one plays out, but in a lower octave. So once again, we got. So we got 3 times of that. And then sliding this one down and back. 2, 4, 4. You got the quick 2 and then da 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 dum, and then 2, 4. Slide to 6. Hit that 4. We got that little E down here. 5 on the B. 6, 4 on the G, and then. So we got the 4th fret there on the D. A couple times bend up and dip and back. So one more time on this one, we got. look at the first riff a little bit more, because it does go back to that afterwards. So we would do that 3 times, and then we're going to do this other riff. Now let's go to the lower one. And we would do that 3 times, and then we got the follow-up riff. Okay, and like I say, I have another video where you can see how those 2 parts are like timed with each other, you know, the 9-note phrase versus these melodies on top and everything. And of course, listen to the original song by Frank Zappa. Try to play along with the 9-note phrases behind the whole song, and have a lot of fun with that. Okay, that's from Joe's Garage. It's kind of the climax of the Joe's Garage triple album. And okay, so let's move on to how he gets into soloing a little bit. So one thing he does, he slides into the 13th fret, like he's in the B major pentatonic scale. So that creates kind of a cool like Lydian effect with that A major chord. And he'll do like a 1.5-step bend on this one sometimes. You'll hear other things like, he'll be using this pentatonic major shape. So you got to just listen to Frank and kind of try to cop some of his emotional runs and how he times out his spaces and how he kind of slides positions back and forth and how he bends and all that. So. At one point he'll start using this little A note. Okay, so I'm not going to do too much on that. You got to listen to it. There is that Frank Zappa guitar book if you ever want to dig into that and try to learn all those notes that Steve Vai wrote out for all those cool songs. It's a big old book, about 250 pages something. Actually, it's about 300 something pages. All right, so that's a little bit of Watermelon and Easter Hay by Frank Zappa. Hope you dug that. That was by request. Thanks for the request, guys. We're going to keep the Zappa coming. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot. Okay, so that's some of the first riffs from Little House I Used to Live In, Zappa and the Mothers, Fillmore East. We're going to have... That first riff is 2-4-2-0, hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff. 4-2-0 on the D there, to the 5th string 3, to the 2, starts on the G string. 3-2-0 on the A right there, and then we have this. That's 3-2, 5-4, 7-5, 9-7, back to the 7-5. And if you want to, you could add an extra bass note onto that, but you kind of need more people in the band to get that kind of stuff going. So the bass notes you would add would be like 5, 7, 8, 10, 8 to the notes you already had. So it's like a minor shape twice, and then it's major shapes. Okay, so that was... If you wanted to add those bass notes... Okay, so you got a 2 on the A string, 2, 1, and then 3 to 5 on the B string, 1, 3, 0, 1, 2. So it's A minor scale type stuff. Kind of like in thirds of that scale. So 0, 1, 3, and then quick slide on the second string, that little 3 in back. So this part B is. Now the first solo starts. So A minor pentatonic type scale, we got a little half step bend on the 7 on the G, 5 on the G, a couple 7s over here in the D. So that's 8 on the second, it's a little 5. A couple times, listen for the staccatos and stuff. I have like staccato markings in the tabs and stuff. Definitely look at the tabs on these. So many riffs, so many things to remember, you know. So you got 7, 8, 8, 8, 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7. So that whole part B is. We're back into part A. Okay, then we're going to get back into the... Now in the new part, I added a little open string into that, but it really gets into the next solo section. So you got your 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 5, and then... So that's A string 3 to D string 3. Back to those D notes there. And you got 7, 5, and 7, 7. Bend this 7 again. So that's me just kind of paraphrasing how he kind of did it. Bend the 7, vibrato. I got a little 5, pull off, quick slide, bluesy stuff. Couple pull offs. So I go pull off, 5, 5, 7, and then 5, 7, 7. So it's like. And then we have a slower version of like the part A. So the same notes from that part A. 2, 4, 2, open, and then 4, 2, 0, 3 on the A string. And you have a really long, like 2-bar pause for drum fills and stuff. So we do that 3 times, and then our next riff is going to be 10, 12, 10 on the B string, 12, 11, 9 to 10 on the D. So you might try to go like, you might think about keeping each finger on its own fret, and that would mean a middle finger to pinky pull off, double pull off, and that. Or you could think about like, think about it as one string at a time. But then you have to move your fingers back and forth and stuff like that. So after 2 times of that, we have. Okay, so we have a riff 3 times. We have 9, 8, 9, 8 on the G, and then 10, 11, and then 8, 9, 11, 8 on the G string there. So we got. And that's 1 time through. We're going to do 3 times of that. And then we get into power chords. We got 9 and 11 to 7, 9, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1, 3, back to the beginning one. So it goes down. It's like a whole tone scale in power chords. Each one is 1 step. 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, back to the 9. Okay, then we start a new section. We have a D chord. Okay, so we have a D chord, 5 to 7s. And then we have G and B strings is what we're dealing with. 5, 7, slide into the 9, 8. Back to the 7, so we got. And then 7, 7, 5, 7, 5. And then we go. C to C sharp to D power chords. Same riff, and then just kind of ends a little differently. Dee da dee dum. Now we have a new melody. We have okay, so we're on this D chord here. 7, 7, 7 to the 10 on the B string. Staccato on that one. Like I say, check out the tab. I got staccato markings and stuff. So pull off 8, 7, 9, 7, 9, and then the 7 here to the 10th fret of the D string. So we got. And then next time. End on a little 8 down there, a little C note. And then we're going to repeat what I'm calling this section C. And then the next one is going to be part D. Just ends on that D note right there. Then we're back to this C part. Basically part 1 of this section. And then now this time we're going to hit both of these 8s down here and hold it extra long. And then we're just going to do part C and part D one more time. Okay, now we have a new part, part E. We're going to go. Okay, so it starts out with a 14, 13, 16, and then 14, 13, 13, 16. And that's part E, the first kind of part. We're going to repeat that 3 times. So we got. And again. Third time. It's going to get into it does have its last note, but it's going to get into a. So that's 4 quick ones on the 14, 13, 16. So this again is second time, third time. Okay, then we're going to have the same exact rhythm with some different notes, 16 and 13 here. Okay, now we're moving on to part F. We're going to start here on this A note, 14th fret of the G string. Starting to make you think about the mud shark right in there. So we got, this is coming down this like A mixolydian scale. (12, 14, 10, 12, 9, 10, and then hammer on, pull off on the 9, 10. Big 12, 9, big 12, 9, and then 12 on the A. 11 on the A, big 12, that's your mud shark sounding thing. Okay, then our next thing is 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. So that was 5 on the big one, then 5 on the A, 4, and then 3, 2 on the A to 2 on the D. And then we got, so that's a little 8, 7, and then 8, 7, 10, 9, 12, 10. Then we hit an E chord. Now we're going to get into that same A mixolydian scale riff, but it's a lot faster. It's the same stuff, but it's really fast. It's like. And then we get into a new thing here. We have. Getting into an E minor chord. But what we have here is 17 on the 5th string, 17, 16, 17. It's like a major 7 arpeggio. Here we have 16, 14, 14, 17, little 16, and then coming back down those notes. So, and then we have E minor. Boom, we got like 4 of those. Now we have that A Mixolydian riff again, but this time it's slower. And then we get into a teaser of that previous riff. Okay, so we do the first part 3 times. Third time, we follow it with the end that we had before back in the E minor. You got that 4 times, and then we have this.